Welcome to the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast.
My name is Jen Clark.
And I'm Elka Clark. We are a mother-daughter team who started our Zazzle e-commerce businesses over 10 years ago and have sold $15 million and counting of products on Zazzle with our designs on them.
We had so many people asking us how we did this, so we created our signature course, the Profit by Design Academy, which teaches our 5 strategies for success on Zazzle.
When we aren't helping creative entrepreneurs just like you create profitable e-commerce businesses, we love cooking food from places all over the world that we've traveled to, jet setting to our next dream destination, spending quality time with our close friends and family, or having fun creating our next bestsellers in our Zazzle businesses.
In this podcast, we share actionable steps you, the creative, can take to make money in your e-commerce business on Zazzle. Each episode will take you one step closer to achieving freedom with your time, location, and finances.
We believe that you can have anything you dream of, as long as you work smarter, not harder. And we're here to give you the tools you need to make your dreams happen. Let's get started. Well, hey there, it's Elka.
And Jen, and welcome to another episode of the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast. And today we're talking about Zazzle success strategy number 2, which is create.
Yes, create. It is what it is in that we have to create products, even if there's digital, on the Zazzle marketplace so that Zazzle customers can come and see what we have to offer, and then people can purchase them, obviously. And we consider these products to be our workers, right? We're running a business. We've got the Zazzle platform as our way of selling, but we're sending these products, our workers, out into the Zazzle marketplace and out into the internet space to do our work for us. So when we create these products, we're not just like putting our designs up and hoping that, we will be validated as artists because we're going to make money selling what we think is beautiful artwork or photography or graphic designs. What we have to consider is that this is a money generating cash flow opportunity for us as designers by creating products and thus getting paid royalties or referrals when people buy. And so that's the business model. And so these workers need to be armed with the best possibility of being sellers. So if you were hiring someone, and you would give that employee some training, you would talk to them about corporate culture, and you would, give them the rules as to what they need to do to sell and all that. And we are doing the same thing by every single time that we post a product for sale on the Zazzle marketplace. We're literally doing the same thing. We're launching an employee to work for us. And believe it or not, some of our employees, this is the thing that people forget. As Zazzle designers, we forget that actual single products can make us a lot of money.
Yeah.
What's your top seller that you've made from one product? Not even one design, just one product.
Yeah, one product. So I've sold over $100,000 worth of that product. And I've made take home royalty over $10,000 on one product.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. My record holder is a $20,000 product. So one product on one type of, one design on one type of product, a singular $20,000 over the course of 14 years that it's been selling. And so give each of your products or employees, the workers for your business, the best possible scenario so that they can make you a ton of money.
Yeah.
So now these are not income claim statements. These are true facts. These are things that we've experienced over the time that we've been on the Zazzle platform. And they're not one-offs. We have multiple products that all, have made relatively nice sums of money for us. It's just those are our top seller, top ones.
Yeah.
So let's say you had, a couple of those geez, you could start doing the math and you could really understand why it's so important to focus in on creating a product and design that is going to be leveraged, right? There's no throwing spaghetti against the wall here to see if it sticks and make thousands of products and just hope for the best. You can make creative, intentional products that you can then send out into the in e-commerce space and have them work effectively for you. So that's the whole premise of today's strategy, which is create. That's strategy number 2. And it's a big one. And it's not just about creating products. It's about creating good, intentional products that are going to make you money. All right. So who would benefit from this?
So who would benefit is creatives who are thinking of starting a Zazzle business and want to start out the best way possible. Obviously, what we just kind of touched on, you obviously want to create products that sell for you. And if you're creating products and working really, really hard to like pump out thousands and thousands of products, but they're not intentional, you're actually working harder than you should be. And you're not actually working smarter. You're working for nothing, basically, if you're not making any money. And so at one point it does get frustrating if you've been working really, really hard, quote unquote, on Zazzle, because if you're spending a lot of hours making all these products, you're expecting to see sales. But honestly, if you're not creating the products properly and doing a good design and giving the customer what they want and serving them properly, then you're not going to benefit from that.
Exactly.
So, and then
if you're new, so that's what we've covered for new. So you already know what to do and don't waste your time. But what about if you're a Zazzle designer?
Yeah. So if you're a Zazzle designer and you're not making at least $5,000 a month, so 5K months or $60,000 a year, which it is possible. A lot of our students are doing that, and we ourselves have done that. And potentially you could possibly be doing that too.
But no income claim statements, just so that everyone is happy, because we don't want to make any false claims.
No income claim statements. We cannot tell you that you're going to make money online with Zazzle, but it is possible. And so if you're a Zazzle designer and you've been struggling and you're not making those $5,000 a month, this is definitely for you, because it's part of our 5 strategies, which are all cohesive and they all go together. And you need to implement into your Zazzle business so that you can earn the money and work smarter and not harder.
Yeah. And that's the only way that we can make money is to get those products to sell for us.
Yeah.
So if you're not making that money, then you're missing out on the one thing that's actually going to generate the cash flow for you. And that's so that's a no-brainer, right? But we as artists, we put a lot of clout behind it, and we go like, oh well, but my artwork's so nice, or I love it, or my friends love it, and so we have to let go of our artist ego a little bit and allow ourselves to see that we are here to serve the Zazzle customer. And if they would like some of our unique original artwork or photography, then that's awesome.
Yeah.
But that also means that you have the ability to sit there and say, okay, but this is also selling on the Zazzle marketplace. Maybe I want to tap into that. Or the way I'm presenting my artwork right now, even though my artwork's great, it's not being showcased properly. So no wonder they wouldn't buy it. They would buy it if it was showcased properly. So I want you to hear that loud and clear before you move on, because if you can't get someone to buy a Zazzle product that you've posted on your store in the Zazzle marketplace, then you're not making money.
Yeah.
As simple as that. You can do all the promotion you want. You can do everything else. You can be busy branding your store and all that things, but it will not work because you're not going to be making that money, because your Zazzle products are not something people want to buy.
Yeah.
So let's focus on that for this particular podcast. All right. So we've got that was the first point. What's who would benefit? Obviously we all would, because we want to make sales, whether you're new or struggling on Zazzle. And even when you're not struggling on Zazzle, you always keep the customer in mind. If you want to expand and scale your Zazzle business and create more wealth for you within the corporation that you're creating, yes, you are creating a corporation. It's a full-on fledged business.
Yeah.
And we want you to remember that, and that these workers are working for you. And if you had a worker who was standing by the water cooler all the time or sitting at his desk watching videos, you'd fire that employee, right? So But you're now not, like in that case, the employee was responsible for doing the work. You were training him, but if he trained him properly or her, then it would be up to them to perform. Whereas what you're doing is if you don't create your products properly, you haven't trained them properly.
Yeah.
And then if you haven't like promoted them properly, which is the next episode, this is the second episode in a series of 5 that we're going to do all about the 5 strategies that work for us in our Zazzle business. So you have to remember that the promotion is part of it, and that's coming up next in the next podcast.
Yeah.
But right now, what you really need to focus on is even if you do promote the heck out of all your products, if they're not something someone wants to buy, there's no sale.
Yeah.
Okay. So what kind of benefits do they get from the strategy number 2, create?
Yeah. Well, when your Zazzle products look professional, your customers will feel more comfortable buying. And if you listened actually to the first podcast episode that we did for the strategy number 1, which is established, we really touched on the know, like, and trust factor and creating that customer relationship. But the second part of it now is to create not only your branding, but your products, right? If you're creating a good product that actually serves the customer and does its purpose, the customer will be more likely to buy and feel more comfortable buying. Because if it's not a product that they want, then clearly they're not going to buy. So,
or if they want it, but the design doesn't look the greatest, they're going to go like, I don't know if I like this. Right. And people buy with emotion. And so that's you can't sell something if they are not emotionally like triggered by it and go like, wow, this is cool. Yeah. And that brings us to our second point is in terms of the benefits is that you can literally create a style of design that you can become recognized for. And then people will actually seek you out, which is another way to promote easily and organically. And so that's a huge benefit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very true. And there's a lot of Zazzle designers who have created like their signature look. And so people search for them on Zazzle specifically because they really resonate. Yeah. Because they really resonate with that type of design that they offer. Yeah.
And it allows you obviously to compete in the Zazzle marketplace. That's the third point.
Yeah.
And actually make sales.
Yes.
Right. So there's a lot of benefits to strategy number 2. So what do we need to do? That's the point number 3. What do we need to do to incorporate strategy number 2 into our Zazzle business?
Okay. So basically it's all about creating products, and it breaks down into a couple points. So the first one is defining who you're serving. So who is your avatar? If you haven't heard the word avatar, it's basically your perfect ideal customer. Who do you want to serve and who are you catering to, right? When you are a business owner or you're offering a product or a service, you obviously have somebody in mind who you want to sell to. And some Zazzle designers come on Zazzle and they just start doing all different types of designs and all different niches and all different areas. And it's really not focused on anything. And they're not seeing as many sales because it's all over the place. If you don't know who your perfect avatar is or who you're serving, then you can't really dive deep into their brain and think about the things that they might like or like what they actually want to buy, right?
Exactly. It's sort of that jack of all trades scenario, right? You could be jack of all trades, but you never really get good at anything in particular. And in order to really nail it in the Zazzle marketplace and capture those customers, you're going to have to be specifically aware of what it is that they need. This brings us to point number 2, is that you have to actually decide as you're narrowing it down, you have to also then research the designs that avatar would want.
Yep.
And so that you can look at things like colors and different types of assets, whether, it's watercolor or glitter drips or, damask or burlap or whatever, or watercolor florals. And then what kind of designs themes do they want?
Yep.
If you're
like more modern or gothic or rustic or girly, right? And so, because when I first started out on Zazzle, I had everything, and it didn't make sense, and it also affected my brand too. And so, when you really focus in on who you're serving, then you can really create the intentional products that you need in your store to actually make those sales.
Exactly.
So
those first two points really tie in together. And believe it or not, even though you're narrowing it down, you're actually nailing it for the possibility of a sale.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you can't switch avatars or switch niches at some point down the road, but let's just try and get good at something first, and then we can move on to expand and get more skilled at things as we move forward.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of just spreading out thin and hoping something something will sell, that you're going to give that a lot less attention than you would if you were narrowed in and really got good at designing for a particular avatar and a niche.
Have you heard about the Profit by Design Academy coaching program yet?
Are you a new or current Zazzle designer who is struggling to figure out how to make Zazzle work for you? Worried that you're wasting your time using the throw spaghetti against the wall to see if it sticks method? And unsure how you can start and scale your Zazzle business to reach your first $5,000 month?
Then the Profit by Design Academy coaching program is the perfect solution for you. You will feel confident, supported, and clear on how to create your dream Zazzle business.
Imagine having the exact 5 strategies that we use to build and scale our Zazzle businesses, which have sold over $15 million worth of Zazzle products so far.
And it's not just us. The 5 strategies taught in the Profit by Design Academy coaching program and the coaching support have helped our clients sell over $6 million worth of Zazzle products so far.
Head to the show notes to grab the link, and we'll see you inside the Profit by Design Academy coaching program. Now let's get back to the show.
So point number 3 is use the design tool properly to make it easy for the customer to buy correct templates. So if you haven't heard of what a template is, or you don't know because you're brand new to Zazzle and maybe you're still figuring things out, there are things called templates, and it allows the customer to personalize designs. So with either photo or text, and it makes it really unique, right? So that means that you could technically make one product and serve thousands of different customers, and that one product could actually be thousands of different versions of it because you're allowing the customer to customize it. But if you don't use the design tool properly and set up your product properly, like technically, then
with the templates,
then your customer probably won't be able to buy it because it doesn't work properly, or maybe you don't even allow them to customize, and then the customer will shy away as well. And then also think about it too. There's a lot of people who buy on mobile, so you want to make sure that your templates look good or your products look good on the mobile version, because some some Zazzle designers create like thousands of different templates in one product, and it's really hard for a customer to customize it and feel like they're doing the right thing, right?
Yeah.
If they feel uncomfortable doing the product or customizing it because it's too hard to customize, then that's also an issue too.
For a lot of times too, what'll happen is they'll fill out most of the templates, but some of them they'll forget or think they filled them out, and so then there'll be like some sample text that the customer hasn't changed over, and so they get most of what they thought they put on, but really they actually still get some stuff they don't want in terms of text or a photo that they missed out on. Like to that point and going forward is that sometimes you as a designer, let's say you have a front and a back of an invitation or a card, and you make sure your templates are proper for the front, but then you forget to do the back by accident. And the customer, because they're not prompted to say, hey, there's stuff text on the back that you have to customize, then they'll order a product and it won't have the right, like it'll have improper text on the back. So there's so many different scenarios I have to watch out for. So make sure you know how to use the design tool to set up your products properly. Yeah, the templates make all the difference. And Zazzle is known for its customization. So the amount of template products that we sell on a regular basis is definitely like the largest component of what we sell. And so it's super important that you do the same, that you create templates that work for the customer, even when they buy on mobile. Okay, so what's the next point?
The next point is decide if you're going to use graphics that you purchase or use your own, like make your own artwork.
Yeah, you can see that on Zazzle, there's a multitude of different things that you can buy. And, we can ask ourselves, did that person, that artist who's posting those products in their store, did they paint it themselves or took that photo or did that Photoshop technique so that it, becomes the glitter drips or whatever. And so it's up to you to decide. Sometimes for some of our, even us, we purchase certain graphics so that it makes our life easier. And we can also target certain customers that are within our niche that are demanding those types of graphics.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot easier for us to purchase them rather than make them. However, there's some good and bad points about doing that. If you decide to purchase, you have to remember that anyone else can purchase the same graphics and make a similar design. And so you have that competition. Whereas if you make your own, then they're very unique and different.
Yeah.
And so then you don't have that issue. But if you haven't nailed your own version of that graphic or that people are looking for, then they may actually choose the purchased one instead. So be careful and think it through. And as I said, pros and cons to both sides, but make sure that you consider delivering on the things that people do want.
Yep.
We, for example, at the time of recording this podcast, there is a really big trend of glitter drips on Zazzle. And, I still haven't bought that graphic. I bought the glitter, but I didn't buy the drips. Did you buy the drips?
No, I think I made my own. Yes, I made my own.
You made your own?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and so there's a current trend which you may or may not, as a business owner, decide to tap into. And that really depends on your overall business decisions.
Yeah.
But if you make that decision and you say, let's go for it, then make the decisions again as to whether you decide to buy or to make your own. And when you make your own, you may or may not get the same impact of sales as you would if you bought the graphic. Because really, by the time people are buying that particular graphic on a particular design, like the person's going to add more to it, the designer, but it'll be part of the whole aspect or the design itself. And if you don't nail your particular design of that, and it looks a little different and it's not different enough, or it is not the same enough, you're going to have the customer go and pick a different person's design. And so think those things through and let go of your artist ego. Because maybe what you'll say is like, I'm never doing glitter drips, but maybe you would like to, and just take a little bit of cash flow from that. It doesn't mean you have to switch over completely to glitter drips on everything, but you may make that business decision. And this is all about your cash flow in your business and whether or not you're willing to forfeit that cash flow if you decide not to take part in those trends.
Yeah.
So that's a good little high-end business coaching.
Yeah.
All right. What's number 5?
So use your art, photos, surface patterns effectively to suit the product you're adding to them. So basically what Elka just mentioned, but if you're using your own artwork and kind of touching on that artist's ego, right? And making sure that you're actually serving the customer with the actual graphic or design that you're choosing, not that you're just kind of slapping things up and hoping that it'll sell. Because we do have when I first started out on Zazzle, that was what I did. I took a lot of my photographs of nature and landscapes and stuff, and I just kind of put them up on mugs or pillows and thought that it was really cool because I liked them, but it doesn't actually mean that my potential customer will like them. So you definitely have to make sure that the product that you're creating actually serves a purpose and it makes sense.
And also, like the first series of the 5 here, we talked about establish and number 1, and we talked about skill sets. And here it comes in again that the skill set here is to learn how to leverage your artwork properly and your photography. So let's say you have a vertical product like a cell phone case and you have a horizontal photo, and when you put it on that photo on the vertical cell phone case, the whole scene doesn't even look the same or isn't as effective, then you shouldn't expect that cell phone case to sell because it's not really showcasing the photograph the way it's supposed to. And so this is really important for you to understand that you need to leverage your designs based on the surface that you're allowed to print on for the product and also the use.
Well, I was just going to say the next point is actually making sure that your assets look good on the products that make them look good, right? Or that people would buy on, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that they do serve a purpose.
Yeah.
Right? If you're just put something on like a t-shirt. The worst case scenario was always that people just put like a big square or rectangular image of a photograph or a piece of artwork on a t-shirt. And it's like, okay, I'm going to walk around with this big rectangular whatever on my t-shirt. No one's going to do that. And so it didn't look good. It didn't serve a purpose. If you would have put it in a frame and you put like a little bar below and you put the name of the artist or the name of the painting or a motivational saying, now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
But where if it just slapped on, as we call it, then as much as people would love that artwork, they would still go like, I'm not going to wear that.
Yeah.
Right. And so be careful about how people would perceive what you're putting up. And obviously, if you wouldn't buy it, then they might not buy it either.
Yeah. So the last point is become good at titles and tags so that you can promote effectively. So titles and tags are a big thing. We talked a lot about it also in the first episode when we talked about strategy number 1, establish. But we always tell our students that you need to have good titles and tags, because not only is it helping you in the Zazzle marketplace be found, but it's helping you externally on like Google searches and definitely with social media promotion, like when you pin to Pinterest. And so it does come with a little bit of research, and not every title and tag are going to be the same. And we can't give you, as I said in the first episode, the secret sauce, because it's more of a process and a learning thing within each product based on the product type, like the actual physical product type, and also the design that you're creating, right? And you have to do some research, but we always tell our students, make sure you go into the marketplace, look and see, do some research first, like literally put in the search words that you're thinking that you want to use and see what pops up, and then make yours accordingly and use really good descriptive words that actually define what the product is and how it looks.
Yeah. And the reason that we're talking about titles and tags here, even though that's promotion, which would be strategy number 3, is this is part of the creative process, right? When you put the design up, then you have to post it for sale. And during that creative process of posting it for sale, Zazzle asks you for the title and the description and the titles and tags. And so it's part of that creative process, and you can't just skip that part.
No, yeah.
It's so important, because maybe you think that based on your design alone, it should be selling.
Yeah.
But if no one can find it because you haven't titled it properly or added the right tags, then unfortunately it's just going to sit in a void in the internet space.
Well, if you watched one of our podcast episodes actually with Audrey Jean, where we talked about artists and selling on Zazzle, she's a beautiful watercolor artist or like mixed media artist, and she posted all of her images and like photographs of her artwork on Zazzle products. And she actually, did all the research in terms of doing the right product type, making sure the artwork looked good, all of the first points that we spoke about in this podcast episode. But she did not have really good titles and tags. She actually had very poor titles and tags, and she didn't sell well. She had a lot of problems trying to get her things found. And she was like beating herself up because she said, well, my artwork's amazing. She actually works in and licenses her artwork to big corporations and companies. And so when she found out that on Zazzle her stuff wasn't selling, she just didn't understand that titles and tags are extremely important. So you can have a beautiful design, but if no one can find it, then it will never sell.
So we'll link to that podcast in the show notes as well.
Yeah.
And then that way you can listen to her story. She's a wonderful artist and wonderful lady, and she's making it work by being on the Zazzle platform and selling.
Well, and she's also making it work now because she's in our Profit by Design Academy coaching program.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
So, but that's it. So let's review. So the benefits are for anyone who's starting out, as well as people who are struggling to make the money they want on the Zazzle platform. Obviously, creating the products is going to make you the sales, because the products are the things, the selling of the products is the only way you're going to make the money.
Yeah.
And then the strategy as to why it's, what are the benefits? What we found is that as much as we are obviously benefiting from selling, but there were side benefits of us even becoming recognized for the type of designs that we do, and that we become very competitive in the marketplace, which is something that everyone struggles with, right? And then in terms of what you need to do in order to incorporate strategy number 2, which is create, you're going to have to define who you're serving, which is your avatar. You're going to have to do research on the designing aspects of your designs that are popular for that avatar, so they'll buy. Then you're going to have to use the design tool properly to set up the templates properly so they can customize it. And even if you don't have a customizable product, make sure that your templates or all your designs are properly set out so that there's no like misprinting or whatever, because those are actually probably your problems that you've created, and you don't want that. You don't want to create more problems for the customer than you need to, right? And then you have to decide if you're going to buy graphics or make your own. You're going to have to decide how you're going to use your art, photography, and surface patterns effectively so that they will sell, because your arts and photography and graphic designs are great. You just need to find the right avatar and position them properly in the marketplace.
And use the right products, which is the second last point. And then also obviously become good at titles and tags, because we want you to sell the designs that you're creating and have them be found by your customers.
So, and that wraps up the second session of the series of 5, talking all about the 5 strategies that we use to create our business on Zazzle, and have totally at this point made a total of $15 million and counting in sales on the Zazzle platform. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. If you want to know how to implement all these, check out the Profit by Design Academy coaching program, and we'll see you on the inside.
Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to The Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur with Jen and Elka Clark.
We hope this episode has given you actionable steps to start and scale your Zazzle business so that you can have the passive online income to have location and time freedom to live your dream life.
If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a minute to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Each review helps us reach more creative entrepreneurs like you working to create a profitable e-commerce business.
And don't forget to take a screenshot and share it on your Instagram stories and tag us at Miss Jen Clark and at Elka Clark. We'd love to hear your biggest takeaways from today's episode. See you back here next week.